All right. There we go. That's hilarious. All right. All right, guys. How's it going? I hope everyone. Well, a bit of a late start today. Dealing with the cat. He's being difficult. That's Oh, jeez. All right. Let's see. Hey guys, sorry for the bit of a late start. Okay, I think we're live, man. I don't even know at this point. I apologize. It's been it's been an interesting morning. But I think we're live. Nighthawk said yay. We've got Tyler Erie says good afternoon. How are we all doing this afternoon? Doing or said this Sunday? Man, I can't read. I'm doing okay. Kids just being a little difficult this morning. Um, just a little difficult with some confusion. Um, so it is what it is, as they say. I just got to pull up the camera on my phone so I can keep an eye on him because he's being a little, man, I don't even know the word. He's being a little difficult. Uh, so I just need to keep an eye on him. So if I end up having to just randomly bounce right out of the room, whatever, that's why. But okay, so can hear you fine, can see you, yay. Yeah. So uh, yeah, couldn't do yesterday like we normally do because we went and got family pictures for the first time. Honestly, it was a professional. So it was actually the first time we've ever actually done professional family pictures, and that was quite an adventure. But that kind of took precedence. Unfortunately, it took precedence over hanging out with you guys for a little while. So I thought I'd move it to today, where we could hang out and chat a little bit. Of course, go. He's being so difficult today. Uh, but yeah, so we did family pictures yesterday, and surprisingly, already got them back. The photographer that we went to was actually a Mother's Day present from the oldest for my wife, obviously earlier last month, and got him scheduled for yesterday. And yeah, it went really well, and we got excuse me, I'll get it eventually. And we finally got some of them back today. Really, really happy with them. So yeah, that's why I wasn't able to do yesterday. And yeah, I thought we would just hang out for a little bit today and chat, get kind of caught up on what's going on. Maybe take a look through the self-host newsletter. Where did it go, man? Oh, there it is. Maybe we'll take a look at that in a little while. Um, couple of other videos that are coming up soon. I thought we would talk about some of that, and maybe get some input from you guys about the pangolin video that came out Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. Go. Thank you. Close the door. Sorry, if I don't encourage him to keep going each direction, he will just stop and stare at himself on screen because he's a bit of an egotist. Just loves to see himself on camera. Um, but yeah, I just kind of thought we would do some of that. So I guess let's just get the sorry, the pangolin. Let's talk about pangolin for a second. And that video, that was sorry, I'm so worried that he's going to freak out. He's been a little off today. I apologize. I'm going to try to focus here. So, pangolin took me like 2 weeks to record. Not because of the length of the video, but because I recorded, like I wrote my script and then I recorded the first half like up to the installation, and then I was going to do the installation or the let me think. I did the intro. I did the demonstration. Yeah. And then I was going to do the installation. And then once I got to that point, I realized that I was repeating myself a lot in the second half of that, or in that last part, with the installation process and all of that. So I put together the first half of the video and wanted to kind of see what I said, refresh my brain. So I did that, and then all kinds of stuff came up, and I wasn't able to finish that latter part of the video for like a week, and that kind of drove me nuts. But I think the video turned out good. I think it turned out, I mean, as good as good as it's gonna for me anyway. It was as I was rendering the video, I was keeping my Discord mods up to date as far as what was going on, as far as that video coming out. And then Jay Collins was like, "Hey, here's this," and Lawrence Systems released a Penguin video the day that I was rendering mine. So had to, I guess I didn't have to, but I chose to postpone a day just to make sure that they didn't land on the same day. It would just look weird. But yeah, I think it went well. There were some things that I tried, like again, the scripting I do sometimes. I'm trying to do more of that so that I don't tangent quite as much as I tend to do. I do tend to tangent quite a bit. D says hi. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Looks like we're getting an ad over there on the on the Twitch. Man, I wish it would show me over there, but it doesn't. I have to like catch it out of the corner of my eye over here. So yeah, that's kind of what happened there. Practical IT with Jeremy is here, as Alexia. Thank you both for stopping by to hang out for a little bit. Appreciate you guys being here, especially on a Sunday when you could probably be doing something way more fun than listening to me ramble for a couple of hours. But yeah, so I'm trying to do more scripting with videos so that, so like I said, I don't tangent as much, because I tangent too much. I repeat myself too much if I don't have at least notes in front of me to keep me on point. So like the first chunk of that video was pretty much all scripted, and then the installation, no, the demonstration was just kind of, I just went through it and I tried to be very cognizant of what was going on, and then the installation and the wrap up was about 60% scripted. I had notes in front of me as far as what I wanted to cover. But I felt like it went well. I felt like there was less, like I said, going off on tangents, even though that video was very long. There was a lot to cover in that video. And I guess Lawrence Systems, or the guy who did that video on Lawrence Systems channel, is going to be doing a follow-up video to add some additional functionality to it based on how I understood things. So we'll have to see what's going on there. Let's see. Oh, Thomas W says, "Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here, Thomas." There were some things that I did in that video that I'm going to do again, and some things I did in that video that I'm not going to do again. Let me just do like the, I'm trying to get the developers involved more. I think that's really, really important. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the link over here so I can do this. I'm going to turn this down. So yeah, I think I want to definitely get more of the developers involved. I've got Quarantin already sent me over something for an upcoming project that I'm going to do. If you're not familiar with who he is, he did like IT tools, and he did Enclosed. He's got a new app that he's working on it's still in the 0.5 phase for development, but he's already sent something over. There are two others. Oh, the guys from Dumbware that did like Dumbpad and Dumb, like all of the different Dumb apps. They're going to jump on a video with me, as well as the guys. I think the name of the app is Postiz, and it's kind of a social media scheduling app. So all of these different developers have already kind of committed, and I don't mean that It's just they've agreed to send something over that I can use in upcoming videos where I talk about their specific apps. Like I said, Quarantine from like IT Tools and Enclosed has already sent over something about Papra, which I'm super excited about. He was actually the first one to send something over, but then I had to postpone his video because I was waiting for a certain bit of functionality to be implemented, and he did. He got it implemented. So now I feel like I can make that video despite there being some more stuff that he's currently adding. Peter's here. Hey, man, how's it going? Glad to have you here. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. The one thing that, like I said, I'm trying to do more of that. I'm trying to do more scripting. The other thing, the one thing that I'm not probably going to do is what I did in this video. Let me jump over to my desktop here. There we go. So like in each of the chapters, I kept the chapter name in the bottom corner because, and it was like all the way through each chapter, I had it in there. Because with apps like this, people will very often ask questions that I've got chapters dedicated to. So I wanted to make it a bit more obvious that that's what this chapter is about. I know you can hover over, this area and it will tell you what it is, but there were just there. I think there's still a fairly large number of people that don't understand that chapters are in the description, and they can go down and they can click those chapters and go to that part of the video. So I tried to make it very, very obvious of what each section of the video was about on screen, so you couldn't miss it. And maybe that was me being a little kind of a little douchey. But for videos like this, especially very long videos, the attention span of people obviously isn't 46 minutes long like this video is. And I know that's a big generalization, but for the most part, the ideal length of video for stuff on YouTube seems to be 8 to 12 minutes. And I was in no way going to be able to do this video in 8 to 12 minutes. So that's why I kept the chapter name on the screen the whole time, was just because I wanted it to be very, very obvious, no matter where you were in the video. Let me jump back over here. Thomas says, hold on. Thomas says, maybe do a first look video and then do a live with the dev to go in depth. Maybe. So here's the thing. I like that idea. The problem with that, again, generally speaking, is that a lot of times developers get into writing code because they don't want to deal with the public. And I say that as somebody who used to write code, though I was more on the front end than the back end. But I chose that profession for a while, so I wouldn't necessarily have to deal with the public as much. Back end developers, from my experience, usually are even more so less comfortable talking to the public. There may come a time where I can convince somebody to do that. I don't know when that's going to be, but it's just, it can be a very rough thing to convince developers to get on camera. I've just been very, very fortunate that the first 4 people first 4 dev teams I reached out to said yes. Quarantine, I've made videos about his content in the past. We've chatted quite a bit online. So I kind of felt like that one was an easy ask, though I'm still super thankful that he did agree to it. And then, like I said, there are some others who I reached out to who said, we can definitely get some, or I guess they made comments like, yeah, we'll get something to you soonish. So I've got other things coming up. But trying to get somebody on a live stream is far more intimidating than just a 90-second clip that I can throw into a video that's much longer. So that's Again, I like the idea. I just don't know how feasible that is. Peter says that's hilarious. I was trying to click the like button in the screenshot that you were displaying. That's funny. Soldiers 3000. Hey man, thanks for stopping by. Um, Thomas says even if they would be in chat, that would be fun. Yeah, I've actually had that happen. I've actually had that happen a few different times. Let's see. The developer of Arcane. Sorry, I'll just pop this up. Oops. Let's see. So this is where we are. We didn't do that one. Arcane, that developer was in the stream. Orb developers were in the stream. I guess it's just been a couple. Twingate, there was somebody from Twingate in the stream. So I've actually done that a few different times. I guess that's really all that I've had. I think Zeraxi may have had a developer in stream, but I don't remember. And just like hanging out in the chat, answering questions, that sort of thing. We've actually done that, and that's actually worked out really well. So they were really receptive to the comments and questions that you guys had. So that actually worked out really, really well. I was super stoked that we were able to do that, and then then I was chatting with my mods in a mod only Discord channel about doing something like getting the devs on camera, where they send over a clip and I introduce them and have them in the video. And then Jay Collins had an idea of actually adding a dev chat channel to the Discord so that we could get the devs in that channel and we could chat with them and we could kind of build a little sub community for developers who have apps that we're talking about on the channel and in live streams and that sort of thing. And that's actually been going really well. We've got a few developers in there right now. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes. The reason I wanted to do this is and maybe I talked about this last week. So like IT tools and enclosed, and let's do like IT tools. Yeah. And enclosed, hold on, Docker. So anyway, IT tools, right? We did a video on this a while back. IT tools and enclosed, which was a kind of let's see, introduction, web application designed for sending private and secure notes. People for Quarantine is the guy that built all of these apps over here, right? IT tools enclosed, Papra, which is the one I'm getting ready to do a video on, plus some of the dependencies that aren't necessary but are an option as well. Like typically it's just, these are very, very small teams, right? He's got other contributors, but this is Copilot. So he's got Anders, that's GitHub Actions, and Alexis Blaine. I'm sure I screwed that up. Like a lot of these apps are developed by very, very small teams, and I think a lot of people in the self-hosting community and just in general are so used to, like Nextcloud. Let's use Nextcloud as an example. Not personally a fan of that app, but Nextcloud has a huge amount of developers and contributors and that sort of thing. In fact, let me see. I'm actually kind of curious now. Let's do GitHub Nextcloud, right? Review repositories. So like Nextcloud has 334 repositories, and because each app within has its own group of contributors and developers and things like that, just going into, let's just say, registration, there are 38 contributors just to the registration portion of Nextcloud. So when somebody has a feature request or they've got a bug or something like that, these are much larger teams who can handle that sort of stuff much more easily. But when we're dealing with, IT tools or enclosed or Papra or something like that, and there's only one or two developers, it can be overwhelming. And I think people forget that some of these apps are developed by very small teams. And I think they forget that there are real people running these apps, and it can be very burdensome. It can be very overwhelming for small teams to take on huge amounts of bug reports and feature requests and all kinds of stuff. I've been one of those people who took that for granted. I will admit that, I will say, hey, there's this huge issue that needs to be fixed, or like, here's 5 feature requests that are kind of complicated or whatever, only to find out later it's one person developing that app. And it kind of makes me feel like a jerk. So I try to go in to the different app repositories that I'm taking a look at and seeing how many developers or how many contributors they have to that app. One of the apps that I've started using recently, in fact, we talked about it recently, is an app called Postiz. Postiz, darn it, that is not what I wanted. .com. I'll come back and show you that later. But basically, it's a social media scheduling tool, where you can attach all kinds of like all of these apps, all of these different social medias that you see here. You can attach to your self-hosted instance of Postiz and schedule posts out easily, like super, super easily. And I've been using it for about a week now, and it's really cool. And then I started, submitting bug reports and feature requests and issues that I was having with my setup. And come to find out, the dev team is 2 people. I was blown away by that because of the amount of functionality here and a great looking website. If we go to where is that? There we go. Their main they've got 56 contributors, but their main developers, there are just 2 of them. It's Nevo David and Egelhaus. Those are the 2 primary developers. Everyone else, not to take away from what they're doing, but they're contributors to this. So there's a lot, like the 2 main people here for the app are Nevo David and Egelhaus. So they take the brunt of the bug reports, the feature requests, that sort of thing. And honestly, that really surprised me that it was just basically 2 of them at the core with all of the other contributors. So, but yeah, I'm going to do a video on that here pretty soon, where we can kind of take a look at how I've been managing my social media. Like, this has been last Monday through today. All of the different posts that have gone across all of my different social medias, that I can, that I've got scheduled out and that sort of thing. So yeah. So that's why I'm trying to bring the developers into the videos, is to showcase, like, look, these are very often very small teams. And I want to bring the human element of the app back, and not just, say, hey, go to their disc or go to their GitHub and follow the project. It's like, here's the people behind it. Like, get to know them at least a little bit for a minute. So, Lightning One, dude, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. I think this is your first time being here. That's awesome. Yeah, first time joining the stream. Hope you're in good health. I'm doing all right, thanks. I hope you are as well. Talk about raining on someone's parade. Yeah, I know. Here's the problem. I often find out what I'm about to say at the same time you guys do. So I spend a moderate amount of my time after I've said something qualifying what I meant by what I said. So I'm very often just as surprised about what comes out of my face as you are. And I'm working on that. The new meds are helping. But it's still going to be a little while before they're before they're fully doing their thing, I think. Um, thanks for commenting back on X earlier. An interesting subject. Oh yeah, right. No, I always try to reply back. I don't always get a chance to. It depends on what's going on and whether or not it is, because I will very often look at a response that I got and think, okay, I'll deal with that when I'm done doing this, and then it's gone. Um, and 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 that platform, X, Twitter, whatever, um, is really really bad about sending notifications. Um, as far as like if I make a post and somebody replies to it, I rarely actually get a notification in or on the site. Like I typically have to go back to, like, I have to go to my own posts and scroll through them a couple of times a day sometimes, just to make sure I haven't had any replies that didn't show up in my notifications, and I hate it. But I'm not going to pay him $7 a month to do that. So um so yeah, let's see. Jorge Gomez says good morning. Good morning to you. I appreciate you being here. My time on this computer is way off. Holy crap. It says it's 9:30. I got 11:30, but yeah, good morning still. Roberto Diaz says, hi, greetings from Amsterdam. That's awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. I am doing a bit better. It's a continued process and it's working. Martin says I can relate to that. Yeah, man, certain platforms have gotten worse over the years, and it's not just that one. It is Facebook has fallen apart. I don't like being on either of those platforms if I can help it. Um, let's see. It's 13:30 in Montreal. Started with E75, ended up with proper setup to run self-hosting. 6 years into this. Where did it go? You had enough contributions in building my stacks and applications. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad it's going well for you. 1930 in Sweden. Maybe something like Dev Talk to just highlight the people or person behind the service, because a lot of people don't realize how small the teams are. Yeah, and I've actually considered something like that. Um, I need to find an app that will let me do that easily. And what I mean by app is like currently I'm using Meld Studios. Um, and I know that there are other platforms out there. I got to find the right one that will allow us to connect in kind of an interview style remotely. And I just haven't done enough of it to know to know which app would actually work for that kind of interview live stream thing that would also broadcast live to both YouTube and Twitch. I need to sit down and do something like that because it's a good idea. Blitz says hello from Romania. That's awesome. Mandy says, are you considering to join Blue Sky? I already have. I've been on Blue Sky for a long time. Blue it's B. Hold on, B. You know what? DBT. No. Oh, right. It's .ch. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm going to post all of this. Oh, Peter's got to run. Well, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. That link that I just shared has all of my socials on it, including Blue Sky, Mastodon, Facebook, GitHub, whatever, right? All kinds of stuff on there, including some affiliate links at the bottom. So yeah, no, I've been on Blue Sky for a while. Really, really like it. The problem is that, oh yeah, here we go. I need to be better about following more people. Like I've been, I'm not signed in over here. This is just my current stream over the past week. But yeah, I've been posting on here all kinds of stuff. That was the day I got the pool set up, 61 degrees Fahrenheit, so cold. But yeah, all kinds of stuff there. And I agree, it is quite good compared to X. I 100% agree with that. More open, easier to mute certain types of people, that sort of thing. So yeah, I've been on it for a while. We'll have to. Our property is for sale. My agent is having an open house in a few minutes. Holy crap! Gotcha. Well, good luck with that. I hope it does well. Man, I can't imagine trying to buy a house right now unless you just had cash. What are we doing here? Let's lock that. There we go. Do that. There we go. All right. So let's see. But anyway, so I guess while we're here, we can talk about this a little bit. So this is the site that I use, that I've been using for the last week or so to help me schedule posts across several different social media platforms. I've got Blue Sky up here. I've got Discord. I've had mixed results with Discord. It randomly disconnects, and I never know if it's actually going to work. Facebook, Mastodon. Technically, this isn't Mastodon. It's Fostodon. It's one of the spin-off servers. They actually just enabled the ability to have other Mastodon instances rather than just the core as an option, and of course X there. But like if I click add, like if we can zoom in here a little bit, there's X, there's LinkedIn, there's Reddit, there's Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, TikTok. I don't know how YouTube and TikTok work since those are video platforms. Pinterest, Dribble, Discord, Slack, Mastodon. Again, this is any of the different Mastodon server instances you can now choose. You have to be logged in via the account you want to attach to first, though. Blue Sky, Lemmy, which is a kind of a Reddit clone. Warpcast, I'm not sure what that is. Telegram, Noster, and VK, which is like a Russian Facebook, if you're not familiar. But you can connect to any of these or multiples if you've got multiple accounts on there. The setup process on getting this kind of stuff is kind of a pain in the butt. I wanted to look at this last year when I first discovered it, but the documentation wasn't great at that point. Postiz.com. There we go. The docs have gotten a lot better, and I know that they're working on the docs even more. But they've got different installation methods via Docker Compose, or Kubernetes with Helm, and of course they've got all of the different providers listed down here on the left side. You probably can't read that. Like Blue Sky is super easy to set up, but like Discord, Discord has several steps here and some prerequisites listed up at the top. Facebook apps always suck. It's gotten better over the last year, but getting your Facebook attached to anything sucks because of their stupid API progress. Let's see, Instagram, same thing. LinkedIn, I actually haven't done anything with LinkedIn in so long. Again, Mastodon, they've just changed this recently, and you actually have to change this command to whatever server you're on to get your client ID and your secret to then put into an env file. Again, Pinterest, Reddit, Slack, all of these, there's instructions for each of them. The integration requires you have a TikTok developer account. It also requires you have a public website with HTTPS and can upload files that to verify ownership. Yeah. So anyway, lots of different things here. The problem, and part of the reason I couldn't use this for a while, especially with Twitter, X, whatever, is that a free account only gives you one API key, and I was using that API key for the automation software that I was using to announce when I had a video go live or when a live stream would go live or whatever. But I've been having so many issues with that I finally just shut it down. I just got tired of dealing with it. So anyway, that's what I've been using. It's been going actually pretty well now that I've kind of ironed out some of the stuff. Let me come back over here real quick. Jason says, "Hey there, been missing stuff. Fell in the emergency department, waiting room for hours and waiting. Fell backwards and hit my head when leg gave out. Neuro issue and oh, geez. Hospital stay, etc. Big mess, dude. That sucks, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're okay. I know what it's like to land in the hospital unexpectedly. I've been there a couple of times, and dude, it sucks, man. It's no good. I hope they get you sorted, because that's never fun. So I hope they get you sorted. I hope you're on the mend. I hope you get out of there soon if you're not already, because that's no fun. So really hope you're on the mend, man. Um, so the other thing, sorry if that made a noise, I bumped my mic. The other thing that I like about Post is um, two things really. One, analytics, where you can get post or page and post and post engagement, all of this kind of information. This is specific to Facebook. Um, if there were other platforms that had analytics that you could use, um, if, they would probably show up here. But I'm not paying for Twitter to tell me how many likes I get a week. And you can break it down. Um, and you can kind of see how that's been going. So that's kind of cool. The other thing I like is they've got this section called plugs that works with a couple of different platforms, Blue Sky and Twitter. So with these, and you can change them per platform. So when a post reaches a certain, let me zoom in on that. I apologize. When a post reaches a certain number of likes, repost it to increase engagement. It says 1 week old posts. I don't know what that means. There's also an auto plug post. So when a post reaches a certain number of likes, add another post to it so your followers can get a notification about your promotion. So like with auto plug, once a post on Twitter or Blue Sky reaches 5 likes, it will automatically tack on another post that's like, hey, don't forget to follow me. Here's a list of places you can follow me, basically. So those are both available in there as well, again, for just these two platforms currently. And of course, there's light mode, but that just blinds me. You can add teams. They've got webhooks, auto posts. I tried auto posts, and it's such a crapshoot presently. And I think that was the other thing. I think part of that has to do with analytics. Today is June 1st, and I'm already getting details here for June 2nd, and I don't know why. The go-to response when I asked the developers, which I thought of as well, is, well, are you on what's your server times or time zone set to? It's set to UTC. It's basically it's 6 hours ahead, but even that only puts it at like 5 o'clock this afternoon, not tomorrow. So I'm still not sure what's going on here. But that's kind of what's going on. That's what I've been doing. That's why you've seen so many more posts from me. If you follow me on social media, is because I've been able to schedule them much more easily, and that sort of thing. So, that one doesn't have it, but yeah, like I've already got stuff posted or scheduled for this coming week. If I go over here, you can see what that looks like. I've got stuff scheduled clear out to like Thursday for a couple of different things. And if I want to, I can just drag that to a different time. Super easy to do that. I love being able to do that, or I can open this up and make changes to it. I guess close. Oh, let's see. What else do we have? One of the things I really like is if I create a new post, I can type this in. I can then, select the platforms that I want it to go on, or I can remove one. That's whatever. And then I can come into each of these and edit them individually, which I really dig. Or if you want to, you can attach this to OpenAI. Say I need a post about self-hosting that is self-deprecating. And I can do that. Oh, shoot, you were right. I apologize. There we go. Yeah. So let me do that again, because I know I screwed that up. Yeah, reload. So I can just come over here, click on create a new post. I can click the platforms that I want it to go to. I can type something in, or then I can come over here and edit individually what I want. Or I can say, this is currently attached to OpenAI. I have put in a request for a self-hosted Llama. We'll see when that happens. I need a post that is about self-hosting that is self-deprecating, right? Like so. I don't know if I spelled that right, but it's close enough. Yeah, just finished another round of self-hosting upgrades. My setup now has more backup plans than actual plans. At this point, if something goes wrong, at least I can blame myself for everything. Hashtag self-hosting, hashtag IT life. And that is the post that it came up with. And that probably cost me 3 cents to have it generate. But those posts get engagement. They get people to like them, repost them, asking questions. What do you wish you had done differently? What's your biggest blunder? Those sorts of things. Those types of questions get engagement. So I've been posting stuff like that recently, just to increase my engagement, that sort of thing. Let's see. Let me go up. Well, my email server can't receive traffic. You're going to have some port forwarding done, most likely. Do you use anything like Ansible or Terraform in your self-hosting environment? Asks Moist Hoagie. Ansible a little bit. Honestly, it's been so long since I've looked at it. I don't even know if it's still working. I haven't looked at my my Godify notifications in a while. I've been lazy. I haven't even looked at it. But I've used Ansible a little bit. Not familiar with Terraform at all. Has anyone any knowledge about RSI? I have some pain in my left wrist after lifting something heavy around the house. I'm asking because it persisted for about 2 weeks. I would ice it. I would alternate ice and heat a few times a day. Probably take, if you can, I would take some ibuprofen or some Tylenol. I might wrap it so that you're not moving it around quite as much. And if that doesn't work after a few days, I would probably go see a professional. And I say that like I've got a minor amount of medical knowledge. I've got no official training though, so that's just what I would do in my instance. Also, it helps that my wife is a CNA and used to be an EMT. So I've been around it a little bit, just enough to know that those are the kind of things that I would do. Last year, I broke my ring finger. It's actually better now, but it still isn't as flat. This one isn't as flat as that one. I fell and landed finger first and broke it right there. But I popped it back into place the best I could and followed all of those steps. And almost a year and a half later, it's almost flat again. So self-hosting hardware includes our meat bags. Yeah, man, like got to take care of yourself too. It's 100% right. DB Tech, the physical therapist. Yeah, I've been through plenty of physical therapy over the years. Chat GPT is like going to Oz to see the wizard, then go behind the curtain to find out it's run by a dirt farmer, right? Yeah, no, I agree. Like I only use it for certain things. Like I'll use it to help me come up with like titles for my videos. I will fill out tons of information like, hey, look, I'm making a video about this service, or what I'll do. At first, I would be like, hey, I'm making a video about this service. I'm going to talk about these things. I need a title. But then I started doing it backwards, which I know is the wrong way, because I used to start with a title. You're not wrong, Jason. I I agree. I can't take ibuprofen because I've got kidney disease, so I have to take Tylenol, and that's why I mentioned the other nice thing about Tylenol and ibuprofen is that you can alternate them. As long as you can take both of them, you can take one. You can like take one, at like noon, and then take the other at like 2 or 3, and then take the other one at like 5 or 6. You can alternate them back and forth and kind of get the best of both, as long as you don't have any contraindications medically or with other medications. So, but you're absolutely right, Jason. But anyway, now what I do is I will make my video, and I will then I use an app on my computer in the other room called Win Whisper, which has been super helpful for me. oh geez, Win Whisper. Yeah. So I actually use this desktop. Win Whisper creates subtitles with ease using Win Whisper AI for Windows. I've been using this for a little while, and it's super, super helpful. The stuff that the YouTube it generates is very often garbage, and I don't get to control what that says. I know that I could also use something like Adobe Premiere. It also will generate that sort of thing. But I've been using WinWhisper for a while, and it works for me. Um, Gosh, is that it? And it is almost always better than 90% accurate with what I've said. Sometimes I'll have to go in and correct the names of the apps because naming apps is difficult and complicated. And there's like some of them are just too far out there for AI to pick up. So what I'll do is I will generate like it shows here. Oops, damn it. Oh, geez. Yeah, so they kind of give a little demo there. Oops, oh, there we go. And here you can kind of see what that looks like. So then I will upload that to like Chat GPT or Gemini or whatever the Windows one is that escapes my brain right now. And I'll be like, hey, look, here's the subtitles from the video I've already created. Give me some video ideas, and I'll give it certain criteria and have it come up with a few. And then I will very often take 2 or 3 and mix them together. Um, Same here, Tylenol or anything with a heart pick on the box. Yep. Yep. You got to be aware of what your physical and medical limitations are with the medicines you put in your body. Back today from the Netherlands. 2 weeks in the U.S. was very nice, but back home, yeah, back home. Yeah, I don't blame you. I hope while you were here, Savog, that you didn't have any issues. It can be daunting to go to a different country and deal with some of that stuff. So my 2 cents is now 3 cents, and only if you don't have to consult a human, right? Anything that also helps with inflammation is a good idea. Yep, Copilot. Thank you, Martin. Yeah, you're right. I just my laptop has a button that I push and it pops it up for me. Um, so I just periodically I'll do that. And often a lot of times what I will do is I'll grab a couple of different ones and upload my subtitles to them and kind of take suggestions from both and mix and match as necessary for titles, that sort of thing. So it's always a challenge to come up with interesting titles on a regular basis because as more and more people get to be on social media creating content, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whatever it can be, I mean, the markets are being even more saturated, and trying to stay competitive or noteworthy or relevant or whatever as more time goes on gets more and more difficult. So I try to use AI for the good without going too far out and screwing things up. I've used it a couple of times for just random images to post to get attention for my posts, but I always try to make sure that I note that, hey, this was generated by Google's AI Kitchen or Whisker, I think is their new one. Google Whisker. Whisk, not Whisker, Whisk. Yeah, it's, oops, no, stop. Shut up. I said too many words and my thing started, there we go, enter tool. Just do this. Yeah, I understand. But like they've got this new thing called Whisk, which is actually kind of a neat thing. I need a thumbnail for a video that shows an open laptop with the words live stream in the middle of the screen, right? And this is actually pretty impressive. Um, to do. So you can do stuff like this. I mean, obviously that's a very, very should be in a coffee shop with people in the background and a cup of coffee next to the laptop. Let's see. Oh, Jason, dude, you're a farm dude. That's cool. I didn't know that about you, Jason. That's really cool. I yeah, and that's just it. Without knowing somebody's chart, whatever meds they're on, you never know. And Thomas, you don't sound like a whiner. You absolutely don't. I think it's important to disclose that kind of stuff. Like, and again, like I was like, here's what I want. Like, this is how good AI is getting. Like, this is Google. You know, this is Google labs.google. Oh, labs.google/fx/tool/whisk. And yeah, and you can see like, you know, that's pretty impressive. But you know, I do try to include, maybe I can show blue sky. There we go. Yeah, base image from Google Whisk. I know you probably can't see that right there. I included that. And then I threw my dumb face over it. I didn't disclose there. I thought I did. But I try to when I remember to disclose. I think that's pretty obviously what that is, but I should have disclosed better there. But no, you don't sound like a whiner. I think it's important to disclose that. Jason says, got too many issues, got to focus on myself. Yep, 100%. Yeah, no, very cool. Most rewarding thing I've ever done was save people from doctors' mistakes. I believe that. I 100% believe that. They never knew what I did. Yeah, it's because you can't, if you're going to tell them, hey, this is probably a bad idea, you have to do it in such a diplomatic way as to not discredit their doctor. So, 8 years in college, $180 in debt. Man, that's rough, man. Personal coding, fine. Yeah, I agree with you. I do believe it depends on what you're doing with AI, video, music, art, text, research, code. If I use AI for my personal coding, fine. Don't doing government autism or autism research in quotes via Gen AI. Yeah, no, I agree with that. There's a video on Timcast that showed you can use AI Gen. Yeah, and well, that's just it. Like with Whisk, I can do that. And it's yeah. If I actually come over here to this, I can say I'd like the like the coffee to have steam coming out of it, and I'd like some movement of the people in the background. Right, so we're going to give this a minute, and you only get 10 free generations on this. But again, this is what we started with, and I was like, hey, would like to have this other stuff. So we'll come back. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Dance while saving people, right? Yeah. One of the issues that I had in like 2016 when I was in the hospital for so long is that, you know, I had people looking at my heart, my lungs, my brain, and my kidneys all simultaneously. So I had like 4 different specialists on me all of the time, right? Because I had so many things going wrong. The problem that we discovered after a little while is that they weren't communicating with each other. Each person was just trying to fix their thing, their area of specialty, rather than communicating and trying to collectively work on the project as a whole. Finally, we had to get other people involved that would help them collaborate more. That didn't do anything I asked it to do. Oh, let me try that again. Oh, sort of. Yeah, well, actually, okay, it did. It did. I didn't want it to do that necessarily, but it did. Like it's moving people around in the background. My coffee is steaming. Just that quick and easy. I was able to generate an animated thing based solely on AI that, like, dude, is actually pretty believable. and that's scary as hell. Uh, so, um, so yeah, like I said, I'm trying not to go too much into that realm. I did something. I don't even know if it was here. Was it here? No, it hasn't popped up in my feed yet. But yeah, I mean, AI is going crazy right now with what we have the ability to do with it. And again, this is free. Um, it's just kind of crazy that it's that good already. Totally 100% collaborative practice was well known 20 years ago to be critical for complex cases like yours, but management only cares about money. Yeah, yeah, dude. There was one morning after dealing with that with everybody just doing their own thing and not communicating with each other, and so constantly putting me through unnecessary um, medical procedures that, like, if two of them had worked together, I could have gone through the procedure once. But because we didn't know how much of a sample we needed, say, of my kidneys for other doctors to look at as well, I had to go through some of these practices multiple times. And one morning, my wife had had enough. And like I said, she'd been an EMT, CNA, like she's obviously not doctor level, but has enough medical knowledge to know how to talk to doctors and let them know that they're screwing up really, really bad. And she went through and dressed down like an entire line of like specialists. And all of a sudden, my medical care got a ton better. Um, and it's crazy about how all that still works. Thomas says we used ChatGPT to generate the prompt. Then we put the video in AI service and it generated a 30-second video based on that. He said you can eventually use ChatGPT to generate a script. Yeah, I've used it to help me. Like I will have a script written, and I'll upload it. And be like, hey, look, here's the thing. I'm trying to shorten this. I'm trying to make it more engaging. And then I will let it spit something back out to me, and then I will compare and contrast the two and mix things together. I've tried in the past to do a full AI script, and it just doesn't feel right. Um, Nighthawk says last time we went to the hospital, we had paperwork from PCP, and none of the specialists or doctors had access to the papers or even knew anything. We had to repeat ourselves for each new doc. Yeah, I'm actually super, super fortunate that the healthcare system that I'm in, like all of my medical doctors are in the same practice. So they've all got access to my records. So I'm super fortunate for that. They can just easily jump into my records and dig through. They can look up tests from any of my other doctors. They can look up imaging. They can look up vitals. They can look up anything that's attached to me in there. And I think it's great. I really, really like the medical system that I'm in. I gotta love when I was in the hospital as a patient I was giving doctors about, yeah, it's what happens when I can't speak for myself. We've actually got a situation like that with a family member right now who isn't self-advocating. I don't know if she doesn't know how, or doesn't have the courage, or is just too depressed, or too, I don't know if she's given up or what, but like she's not getting the care that she needs because she's not telling the doctors what she's going through physically and emotionally. And rather than communicating with them, she's being kind of rude to them. She's being kind of mean to them. And it's starting to spiral out, and her care is getting worse because she's not communicating and she's being mean. Yeah, and that sucks. Uh, put it, wait 30 hours and proof you have a movie, no actors, no audio, right? Amazing when you have a patient advocate, even an untrained family member magically care improves. Yeah, 100%. And it's even better when your advocate has a lot of medical knowledge and background. It definitely changed things for the better. I used mine to generate a short story. All I did was give it some bullet points, and it's about a 15-minute story. And I use it to generate. Oh, that's pretty cool. I've seen people do that for like kids' books so that their kids can have something to read. Um, and that sort of thing. In fact, I think one of our kids' therapists is doing something like that. Like he's giving the AI like all of the story points that he wants, um, and he's working on a little book, which I think is really neat. And he's not going to sell it. It's just so that our kid can have something to flip through and read. Got to do a summer intern at the Mayo Clinic. That's awesome. Wow. diagnosed in 30 seconds. That's bonkers. It took them 3 months to diagnose me in 2016. Wow, that's crazy. Oh man, let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anything, because I very, very often do. Oh man. So what is everybody else doing these days? Any new fun, exciting um, self-hosted services that you've run across? Anything you'd like to share? Because that would be fun. Maybe you guys have seen something that I haven't. That'd be a lot of fun. No, in fact, that was actually just what I was pulling up, Jason, was the self-host newsletter. Just wanted to see if anybody else had anything self-hosting related. And I thought we would just jump in here real quick and take a look and kind of see what's going on there. Um, so I guess we'll just jump over to that real quick. Take a look here. So this is from 2 days ago, because it's Sunday now. Let's see. Looks like Minio removed a bunch of functionality for the community edition. Looks like somebody has already forked it and started migrating existing alternatives like Garage. That's cool. Let's see. We got some other stuff up here. What did I miss? Let's see here. Hold on. Oops. Redeploying Whisper ASR to see if they fixed my issues. Getting ready to set up my wife with an account of WallOS to track her bills when they're due and how she pays them. Let's see. Hold on. I was running Dockage on Windows and updating Docker desktop and got my instance wiped out. All the stacks are gone. Lesson learned. Yeah, backup everything. Backups are so important. I hope you get WallOS set up. Or was that? WallOS? I don't know, man. Hope you get it. Really like Pinchflat for archiving YouTube channels. I still watch on YouTube and pay for premium, but you never know when stupid YouTube is going to remove a channel for some dumb reason. I agree. And that's the problem, is I can't even talk about those things on here because of that exact reason. They will say, oh, well, that's against our policy. And now you've got a community strike for the next 6 months. Let's see. I'm opting for a thin client to make a dedicated HA server. When I update my main server, it won't mess with the house. So interesting that you bring that up, Thomas, because I'm gonna bring this over to me for just a minute, because somebody actually reached out to me about something like that recently. Oh, right, that's what that is. Okay, yeah. I understand that. Don't care. Let me see if I can get in here. Of course, it's going to be like that. You suck. Give me just a second here. Let me see if I can get logged in. No, Phil. No, damn it. Yeah, do that. There we go. Jeez. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah. Close that. Close that. Been looking for the best solution around me to change and or idea to notify me on Discord. Man, I don't know. I mean, some sort of a task scheduler, I would guess, Jason. So as far as talking, going back to, darn it, where did it go? What Thomas said about a dedicated thin client for dedicated Home Assistant server. These guys just reached out to me yesterday. Sanctuary Systems, power your sanctuary with local AI, and this currently has kind of a custom version of Home Assistant built into it, but also has a PCIe slot here so that you can put a GPU in it. It's a micro ITX sized board. So you can then put this in a micro ITX. I don't remember. I'm sure. I think it said somewhere. Sentinel Core. Trying to find where it actually talks. Oh, it's a mini ITX form factor, offers compatibility with repurposed PC components, giving you the freedom to customize, upgrade as needed. So basically, it's this motherboard, right? That's what I say, mini ITX form factor with your I/O on the back. It's got a button battery for internal clock. It's got GPIO pins for the Raspberry 5 or for the Raspberry Pi, the compute module 5 that goes on here. It's got some camera stuff. It's got a power button, but it's also got front panel headers and a couple of fan slots that plugs in via a power supply, just a standard power supply, so that you can have not only Home Assistant, but local AI all in one instance. And they reached out to me about this over the weekend, and I chatted with them a little bit via email. The only issue that I currently have with it is that I believe it only supports certain AMD cards for GPUs, and I don't have a supported version. However, they may be able to get one that will support this. This is a little Intel card. It's an ARC Sparkle A3 310, I think. But I may be able to get that with a custom flash on it so that I can use this instead. I don't think it needs a huge LLM to run the version of Llama that I'm running, but that's something that they've reached out to me about to take a look at. We're still working out the details via email in the background. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I'm planning on dedicated NUC for HA at some point for the same reason. Yeah, I don't blame you. Ordered a Dell Wise 5070 extended like the one I have that runs my PFSense. That's cool. Oh, I gotcha. Critical that I keep batteries up to date. So, for example, keypad in the garage opener for family to get in case of medical emergency to help me. That's a good idea. I've actually got something coming up in a video soon that might be a good solution for that, Jason. But I can't talk about it yet. I'm still working with the developers behind the scenes. But I will say that it's another dumb app from the guys at Dumbware. They've actually got something that might be helpful now that I think about it. I don't know if they've even talked about it here yet. I know they're hoping to get it released soon. But when it comes out, that might actually be a good solution for you, Jason. And I will let you know. Nice. It's a project called Minds Database to help integrate. Yeah, dude. The dumb stuff is some of my favorite stuff out there right now. If I'm being honest, I've said repeatedly that I would rather have, an app that does one thing really well than one app that does several things kind of well. And these guys have taken that to heart. That is kind of their mantra. Like I use Dumppad all of the time. Dumb term is kind of cool. That was recently covered by another guy in the community, so I don't want to jump on that right now. But like Dumb Do, like a to-do list. Is there a demo for this? I wonder. Docker ready. Like dark mode, clean minimal. So to-do list that just works, no complex database, no necessary features, just to-dos. That one, I don't know if that one would work or not. But the one that they're getting ready to release absolutely will. Not only be able to give you maintenance schedule for things, but also notify you in a number of different ways using AppRise. So there's something coming that I think will be a good solution. But yeah. See, I picked my interest because I want to use it for uni. I also have one chat function for the website. I feel like I've missed something. Yeah, Bratwurst makes a good point. There's always a possibility to create a recurring event in your favorite calendar app to get email notifications. That's true. I use Bluetooth presence on my home assistant matched to my family's phones to disable alarms and locks with A8. Yeah, the problem that I've done, I tried that, Thomas, as far as using Bluetooth presence with Home Assistant. The problem that I ran into was actually with my Samsung phone, because the Home Assistant feature that I was using was with an ESP32 board with ES presence on it, and the MAC address of the Bluetooth on my phone kept randomizing, so I couldn't track it. I might be able to track it with my smartwatch, um, but I haven't dealt with it in a while, so I haven't done anything with that. Um, yeah, Jason, when that comes out, I think we're hoping for sometime within the next week or so. I think was what I was told. Let me make sure. Feedback. Yeah, there was that. That was an issue that I brought up. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking through the conversation that I had with one of the developers. For that. So the conversation that I had with the dumb app developers was on the 29th, so like 3 days ago, and they said that they're hoping to release it in the next few days. Um, and I think, oh yeah, and I think they're actually going to be part of that video as well. I think they're going to send over a little clip for me to use for that. So really excited about that. I think it'll be good. Um, Same here. I switched to my watch for that. Yeah, I feel like that's what I would have to do if I wanted to go back that route. Um, yeah, Samsung pisses me off sometimes, dude. And LG, I never used LG. I had an LG phone for a while, but never when I was doing any of this. But yeah, no, just I understand for security reasons why Samsung does what it does, but it makes it so hard when you want it to do something specific and you can't. Device works in the app. Might be able to add my mom as an additional user. Need to look into that. Yeah, Jason said I have to have the app open to my Chamberlain garage door, and the Ethernet device that works with the app. Yeah, I actually had to add our kids to the front door with the thumbprint so they can get in whenever they need to. I love having smart devices like that. Very, very handy. Nighthawk says I'm using our watches for tracking location in house. I need to add a couple more sensors in other public rooms. Yeah, I've thought about doing an ES presence in our bedroom so that when I go in there, the lights just come on. Obviously, depending on what time of day it is or whatever. But yeah, still stuff I haven't done in a while with any of the ES presence stuff. I think actually, do I still? For a long time, I had one sitting right on top of this. It's gone. I have no idea where it went. What's that? That is, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, would like to do more of that. The problem is that my wife wears an analog watch, which is great. Like we both have analog watches, but when I got sick, started feeling under the weather a few weeks ago, month or two ago, whatever, I started wearing this again because it also does like heart rate and O2 monitoring. So it's not super accurate, but it's accurate enough to know if things have changed. And that's really all I cared about at the moment. ISIS, yep. Kid coming through again. Close the door. Thank you. Go. Go. Use an AirTag. Can you send like an emergency thing from an AirTag? I've never used one, so I don't know if you can do like emergency calls or like emergency alerts on an AirTag. That'd be kind of neat. I live alone with a lot of physical disabilities, so I just got to stay on top of all of this stuff. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes it rough, Jason. You're not wrong. Um, just location, yeah. Um, yeah, having something like that would be super helpful. Um, we've got a couple of people that we wish would wear them that won't because they're just sometimes they're crotchety old people that just don't want to that just don't want to do things that would make everything easier for everyone. Um, so let's see. We can close that. Oops, damn it! Come here. What are you doing? All right, just location. Okay. So let's see. Let's take a look. Oh, Blitz, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. That was awesome. That's very cool. I appreciate that. Let's jump back over to here real quick. Um, so there's the next little part right here with regards to Plex. The Plex gets brought up a lot in our Discord, and not just in our Discord. It gets brought up a lot. But with people asking, should I use Plex or MB or Jellyfin or Cody or right? And everybody wants to hate on Plex, and I get it to a certain degree. I genuinely do. But there's a lot of questions about it and about some of the stuff that they're doing and the privacy of it and that sort of thing. So we were actually chatting about it in Discord the other day. Ethan Shawley, the guy behind this newsletter, was there and was like, "Hey, I'll put this in there again." So if you're concerned about privacy with Plex, there's a great he wrote up this great thing a while back in March. I'm going to share it in both places. I'm going to share it a couple of times in both places, and he walks you through a bunch of different things that you should change for the sake of privacy, whether it's local or on their remote app. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as well, as there's a lot of different things you got to change for Plex security, privacy, that sort of thing. The car presence detection device also has a fall detection. I think that also requires a subscription for that, doesn't it? For like fall detection, or is that just for sleep? I don't remember. It can detect up to 5 people. Sleep detection, sleep monitoring. I don't remember, but I feel like there was a subscription necessary for a couple of those features. Ceiling mounted is required for fall detection and fall detection mode. Most features, including zone positioning and presence detection, become unavailable. The FPT presence sensor is not a medical device. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a great device. It absolutely is. I've actually got one right there. That's an FP2 right there. And I've got it set up to do all kinds of stuff. But like when I'm doing live streams, I have to disable all of the automations for it because the kid likes to come back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it trips things up. And even though I'm here, it doesn't see me anymore, and it shuts everything off after the kid walks through. So let's see. The media streaming thing depends on what type of usage and how you want to kind of use it. That's true. Yeah, I saw a thing where Warner Brothers DVDs from that time range are failing. Yeah, they've got disc rot, and some of them they're replacing as long as they still have licensing and manufacturing licensing for it. Crazy stuff. Got some DVDs I want to make digital that only came as DVD. That's fair. There may be other ways that you can get a digital copy of that, even if you've got disc rot. And I wouldn't feel bad about it if you already bought it. just because you bought the product due to no fault of your own, it wore out. I think there are other ways that you can acquire that media because, again, you did buy it. So haven't used DVDs in 15 years. Yeah, I don't. I think we still own one DVD, maybe two. Um, I think my wife still has a copy of Les Mis, and maybe one other, but I don't remember. So yeah, I don't know. In fact, the only thing that I've got in the house that will take a DVD is my Xbox One that I haven't turned on in months. Let's see. After 6 years and 150 episodes of self-hosted content, the self-hosted podcast published its final episode, and that is a different group of people. I'm going to make sure my audio is down just in case. There's some old stuff you'd like to preserve. That's fair. Kazi, hey, how's it going? Glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Interesting. I'm confused. Maybe it was just the self-hosted stuff they've stopped doing. I'm so confused because this was 2 hours ago, but Ethan said they have the final episode. Hold on, guys. I got to go check something. Sorry, heard a noise in the house, and you can just never be sure what kind of nonsense he's getting up to. So I wanted to jump up and make sure he wasn't doing anything that's going to get him in any trouble. Voodoo was only if they had agreement with the filmmaker. Yep. In the EU, it's illegal to copy your own media. That is crazy. Fernando says, hello, I'm an Amazon driver. That's cool. Let's see. Kazi says you should make a video about secrets manager, any secrets manager, so that sensitive secrets don't stay on disk unencrypted. That's not a terrible idea. Yeah. All right, so let's come back over to here. Let's dig around a little bit more, see what we come up with here. New matter standard is still a work in progress. The World Bank just open sourced a powerful metadata tool. That's interesting. So software updates. Hortus Fox. Again, I still need to cover that. I've been so bad about it. Navidrome, we've covered that one. I think we covered PadWS, but I don't remember. Papra, I'm getting ready to do a video on that. Rally just changed their licensing. And like I understand why, but it's upset a bunch of people as far as that is concerned. Redeck, we've covered that one in the past. It's got some updates. Streaming stats, user activity chart with date filtering, Olama support for embedding. Why would you need an Olama support for embedding? I don't understand that. That's weird. WireGuard and Wizard was a full re-architecture. And then we've got new stuff here. Organize and content agnostic tracker. We're not going to cover that. Can't cover archived. Asset lookup. Interesting. Audio Muse AI smart playlist generation for Jellyfin via deep audio analysis. Budget Boss, dumb budget fork with multi-account support and dashboard-based financial insights. I'm curious about that. Let's see. Oops, that's not what I meant. Oh man, it's a bit much. Let's bring that out a little bit. One more reason not to use Facebook. Yeah. Let's see. Does it say, yeah, forked from Dumbware.io, dumb budget, stupid simple budget app. I'm glad. Look, I'm glad they gave credit. I think that's super important. I've chatted with other developers recently who have had their stuff forked with all of the stuff just removed as far as where it came from, and that sucks. Yeah, so they've done some additional stuff here, but they don't have any no images. I like seeing images of apps like this, just to see what I'm getting into before I install it. But I'm glad they gave credit. We've got a cents per point, so track credit card points. Docker containers, Docker switchboard, quickly control Docker containers from a simple web interface. Oh, it's really just turn it on or off, huh? Interesting. Screw it. We want to install this and just see if it's really just that easy. That seems like it might be something worth taking a look at. Wait, hold on. Environment variables, port and config path. Oh, that line is optional. What does the config file do? First container list. Huh. Oh, I guess it's just for additional configuration. Go figure. Let's see. Still use Plex. Yeah, 100% gave credit in college, would totally fail an assignment if I didn't cite sources. Dude, like there is, it blows me away that people aren't able to cite sources even sort of correctly anymore. It really does blow me away that when we've got all of human knowledge available to us, simple things like, how do I give credit for this thing that I obviously didn't come up with the idea by myself? The people that don't want to give credit frustrate me. Let's see. Screw it. Let's put it right here. Console. Oops, we're gonna be on 171. Let's just do this. Container. Oops. Oh, that's cool. Fernando says, I'm an Amazon driver and I enjoy listening to your live stream while delivering packages. Dude, that's cool. That's an interesting idea. I'd never thought about that. Like, we get packages delivered all the time and we hear people listening to music and that sort of thing, but don't think I've ever had anybody listen to a live stream while I was getting my stuff delivered. So we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to deploy that. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, you're 100% right, Jason. Let's see. Switchboard is already up and listening. Outstanding. Do we have neat? Continue. Wow, that's all right. Like that's actually pretty neat. I don't hate that. Let's take a look. Let's go back over to our stacks. Port note. Run port 3000. There it is, right? So then in theory, if I come over here to the port note, let's actually look here. Port note is running, right? Like we can see that right here. It says running. Let's jump over here to switchboard. Let's turn that off. Maybe. And exited. And it's gone. So we'll start it back up. And it's up. Wow. All right. Like that's kind of neat. Let's go back over to here real quick. It's not as useless as I thought it would be. And there it is. Right there in the oops. Come here, there we go. Yep, post, container stop, executing broadcast immediately, container start, container started. It does what it says on the tin. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I didn't expect it to work quite like that, but I don't necessarily hate it. Let's see. We got doc scribe. What is doc scribe? CLI tool to pull short descriptions of all currently running containers. All right, so you gotta install some stuff. Interesting, huh? Truth in advertising in 2025, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. Let's see. CLI for we got ENV Forge CLI for reconfiguring development environments from scratch. Garlic Hub digital signage for management solution. That's an interesting idea. So let's see. You would still need a player on your remote, right? So I mean, it's a good idea. I definitely like the idea of what they're doing there. But that reminds me. Oh, you're wrong. Huh. Maybe it came unplugged. That's weird. I'll have to look at that later, I guess. Or maybe the IP address changed. No idea. Garlic Cup sounds for an NSFW website for horticulture fans. It kind of does. It really, really kind of does. That's funny though. I like the idea of what it's supposed to do. But yeah, it runs in a Docker container. Docker Compose that you got to build. That's fine. You got it. So you got to clone the repository and then build it. But cool. Let's see. Graffito is a web-based log viewer for journal CTL. Jelly music app for Jellyfin. Collaborative task management and calendar application from Janeer. Huh. That doesn't tell us much. No images or anything. That's unfortunate. Was really hoping. Again, I like to see images so I can see. Because I don't like to deploy something and be surprised. Like, oh, that's really, really bad. And I'm not saying that these are. I haven't looked at them, but I hate that surprise. Oh, that looks like trash. I wish I hadn't. Wonder this is going to like redirect me. Yep, to log in, and I'm not going to do that. Yeah, they need to get some images in there. But Oktar, Open Max IO, another open source community driven fork of Minio. That's good. Let's see. Oh, Jason says, you guys worked so hard years ago when I lived in an upstairs apartment. I had an Amazon driver walk in on main level and toss my box of electronics down the stairs. Oof. Yeah. We've had some issues, but nothing ever quite like that. Ahmed, just saying hi. That's awesome. Glad to have you here. Let's see what else we have. Patreon email downloader. I don't necessarily hate that. Although I think you can just download from there. I'm at base Patreon download Docker container. I guess I don't understand what it does. Does it? Yeah. Oh, this way you can go. This isn't what I thought it was. This is so you can download stuff from Patreon. So if you've signed up to be a patron of somebody, you could then in theory go in and download everything. I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I don't have any control over it, but I'm not a big fan of it. Let's see. PDF 3MD. Oh, converts into Markdown and Microsoft Word formats. That's cool. Peer Suite. Decentralized peer-to-peer collaboration spaces. I don't hate that. That's kind of fun. Look, I agree with what you're saying there, Jason, as far as if you paid for it. The problem is that people will use that to possibly download patron only content and then re-upload it somewhere else. That's a thing that happens and it sucks. Um, there's nothing you can do to stop it though. Thomas says, I got a 30, 60, 12 gig from my Llama, but since I shot myself in the foot with a small form factor PC as my Plex, Plex server, I was thinking Oculink to PCI dock for GPU. I don't see why it wouldn't. I've never actually done Oculink in Docker. I don't know how that connects. Like I'm currently using an Oculink setup. I've got a 2070 hooked up to a mini PC via Oculink, and it works fine on Windows, but I don't know beyond that. I started with one GPU and I've got 3. The hobby's a plague. It can be. Yep. I miss the lug days and install fests. Do you think we'll get back to it, or was it just a phase? Ahmed, can you elaborate on that for me? I'm happy to do that. If you guys have got apps you'd like to see me install live, I would love to know what those are. I just didn't have anything, kind of lined up for this necessarily, or for this live stream, since things got screwed up yesterday and whatnot. I'm sure we will install other apps because those usually did pretty well. Oops. I go here to content and I go to live. Like where we took a look at Arcane and we took a look at Orb and we took a look at, as setting up Home Assistant. That one didn't do as well, but the follow-up video I did well. TwinGate did all right. Proxmox helper scripts did all right. If that's what you're talking about, I don't know. A lot of tea and a stress ball for that, right? Yeet file, we did that one. Dumb, we did some dumb stuff, dumb apps. Checkmate, Xeraxi, Pangolin. That was the first time we did it. Or the first time we looked at Pangolin was a live stream that did pretty well. So I'm totally up for doing that. If you wanted to, yeah. And a lot of these, like these are old. This is from like 2023. But that was my first look at a Zima Blade. But yeah, like I'm happy to do those again. I didn't have one lined up, and I haven't for a couple of weeks. We go to live. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I want to go back a page, not back a page. Is that it? Not right? Yeah. Yeah. So like I'm totally up for doing more of those. I just got to find the right apps. Maybe next week we'll take a look at a couple, or we'll take a look at one that I can then turn into a live stream. Oh, that's fair. I think you might be able to pass through. I don't know how Oculink passes through is the only reservation I have about that. Let's see. Oh. Nope. Cool. That actually worked. Oh, I gotcha. Thank you for that clarification. Lug is a local Linux user groups and install fests where events that people bring their PCs and we install Linux for them, doing sessions and so on. That's actually really cool. That's really cool. I dig that. That seems like a good community service kind of thing. I dig that. Jason says I still use Backbone because of you. It's funny. I don't. There are so works great with ShareX. Yeah, I think that was actually part of the video. Most of the apps that we do videos on, that we do live streams on, most of those apps I don't use. Some of them I do, most of them I don't. Like just kind of looking through here, looking here, right? Pangolin, I'm not using that yet. I just haven't got there yet. Worker, I don't use. It's great, but I don't use it. Home Assistant, I use. Olama, with that I use. I need to get this hooked back up. My little Home Assistant device that I've got here. I want to get more of those, but I'm cheap and don't want to pay for them right now. Twingate, I don't use. Termix, I don't use. Arugo, I don't use. I use Dumpad. I use that one. Cut, I don't use. And yeah, so I do a lot of demonstrations. But there's so many people that come into the comments a year later, like, hey, they've done this new update. How do I fix this issue? And I'm just like, dude, I don't know. I don't. um, I've actually thought about doing a video about the stuff that I use. I usually do one like once a year. But I just haven't done one. Maybe I'll do one of those here soon. Because honestly, it's kind of easy content. And people like to see it. But like, like here's a bunch of stuff I use, like 13-foot ladder. This one's amazing, but I can't do a video on it because it will violate YouTube terms and conditions or whatever. But my wife loves 13-foot ladder. If you get tired of being told that you've exceeded the number of times you can view a post on a website, 13-foot ladder will be a friend of yours. I do use Dumpad. Libra speed test, I don't remember. Oops, that is not what I meant to do there. Yeah, I understand that. Continue. Yes, that's what I thought you were going to do. I think this is one of those that I can actually get rid of. I think I was testing something out. Oh, you can't see my screen anyway, damn it. Desktop. Yeah, no, you're right, Flameberg. There, a lot of people really like those videos. Oh, that should have. Oh, yeah, and then I can. And like I am just testing from the device I'm on right now back to the rack behind me on a 2.5 gig connection. But yeah, so anyway, that one I don't actually use. I forgot it was there. What else? Confuse me. Memos I haven't used in a long time. Link Stack I do use. That's the one that I shared earlier. He does this sometimes. Anyway, this is Link Stack. I've been using this for a long time. Really dig that one. But yeah, I should definitely do a video on all of the stuff that I actually do use. Maybe do some cleanup in here for this and the stuff I'm not using. Yeah, there's Ansible. I've got Ansible semaphore and some support stuff. I did some testing with Ghost, Twingate, that sort of thing. Active Pieces kind of fell apart on me. I'm kind of burnt on that one. Plex I use. That's good to know, Jason. I appreciate you sharing that with us. But 13-foot ladder is very much that, and my wife loves it. And it's so clever how it works, and I wish I could talk about it. Maybe I'll have to start doing live streams over on Twitch that's just like stuff I can't show on YouTube. But yeah, so maybe that'll be a video while I'm waiting on some other stuff to happen, and kind of explain, why I use all of these different things and the benefit that they bring me. That might not be a bad idea. It might even be 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I think even if I took everything out that I don't use, I would still probably have 20 apps in here. Plus there's more on my Synology device back there that I use pretty regularly. So that maybe that'll be a video for this week to follow on the heels of the Pangolin video that's doing pretty well. Which I'm not surprised that it's doing well, but I am super thankful that it's doing well, because it's so often such a crapshoot as far as I think something will go well and then it kind of peters out on me, or on the flip side I'll think, well, this is something I don't have any content available in my brain this week. So I'll just throw up something dumb. And it's like, oh, well, that did 20,000 views more than I expected that it would. And it's so difficult sometimes to know what a video is going to do. Really? Thought me buying Ground News would show me full articles that they reference, and they don't. That sucks. Because like Ground News sounds like a really cool concept with them showing kind of both sides of the aisle and kind of down the middle and all of that. But if they're not showing, man, if they're not giving you full context and you got to pay for that, that sucks. I mean, in addition to that, you know what I mean? Any chance other creators could help brainstorm with you on how to increase views and app specific bits? Yes. So I'm actually part of one of those groups that is full of all kinds of creators in this space. And I have a hard time being in that group. And it's not because of anybody in that group other than me. The problem that I have with that group is I don't feel like I belong there. I don't feel like I don't feel like I deserve to be there. I'm flaky. I'm inconsistent. I'm unreliable. I am kind of all over the place. And as a result, I have more times than I can even remember, I have disappointed people around me, companies that I've worked with, creators that I was going to collaborate with. I've disappointed too many people as a direct result of my inability to stay on task or finish something I said I was going to finish in a time that I said I would finish it. And I don't believe that I deserve to be part of the group that they invited me to. I am still a member of that group. There are some great people in there who are also in this space. But because of my own sense of self-loathing, again, I'm working on this stuff. I don't feel like I belong there, and I don't want to burden them with my nonsense because I've done that. I have gone in there freaking out and caused a scene because of my own mental health. And I've embarrassed myself so much that like, I don't want to burden them. And that's kind of where I am with that. Like there are plenty of people in that group that I could talk to and that sort of thing. And I don't want to burden them with my nonsense. Like I don't even like burdening you guys with my nonsense. But I appreciate you guys and you guys are the reason that I keep doing what I'm doing. Like I've been chatting with other people in my Discord, about different videos, about different ways to make things better, about different ways to organize things. And I've got some of that I'm working on. Pangolin was kind of the first attempt at some of that, at changing some of that up. Again, there are things in that video that I won't do again, but there are things in that video I will. So it's now that I'm on some stuff to help me reorganize my brain. Shit, hold on. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I got to go. Something the kid just freaked out, and I got to end this. So thank you guys for your support. I got to go deal with this. Have a great